All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Got a pretty chill one for us tonight. We are going to be doing a couple of deck builds here. And then we're going to play some arena until I'm out of time for streaming. But first, let's head on over to here. So, I want to try and do the Spellify at the start of all these streams. Uh, you know, seems fun. And also, breaking news, like just now, New York Comic Con is starting, and sure enough, people are seeing on the streets a bus running around with Magic the Gathering XTMNT all over it. Let me see if I can go find it for you guys. Here it is. Here's Prof's tweet. We are back, guys. There it is, officially. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Magic the Gathering set. So, yeah, interesting, huh? I can't get off Twitter. This set sucks. Alright. Alright, so let's hit that Spellify. So, we're looking at a creature. It's something dash something. Let's see. Is that a human? Human. Very likely a human. Let's start with, as a keyword, it's an activated ability. And it's from 2023. I don't know if that's accurate. Let's try the H. Yep, so it is a human of some kind. Let's see if it's trample. It appears to be trample. No, not trample. Not haste, not trample. Let's get an E in there. Oh, menace. That's most of the name. Let's see. Something. Menace. When. WHENEVER. Whenever the. Oh. Oh, okay. Whenever one or more creatures CREATURES. Whenever one or more creatures blah 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 versus each EACHE. Yeah, there's no A. Yeah. Let's go for an I. Okay. You're probably screaming at the screen what this is already. BARBION. So it's a human barbarian that does heavily limit it. What human barbarian is this? It's not legendary, so it's not Karlach. It's a human, so it's definitely not Karlach. It's got menace. Sacrifice name. No, sacrifice a creature. It's a sacrifice outlet? It's a free sacrifice outlet. Is a human that's a red creature that's a free sacrifice outlet? Okay, let's get a T. Oh, menace. Whenever one or more creatures die, whenever one or more creatures, something create a treasure token. Oh no, I know it's Professional Facebreaker. Is Professional Facebreaker a human barbarian? I guess so. Oh, it's a warrior. Whoops. I probably could have figured that out with a B, but yeah, Professional Facebreaker. There we are. All right, great. All right, so let's head on over to our first deck we're going to be doing today. So for those of you who don't know how this all works, this is our bracket builds portion of the live stream. Basically, we are going to take 3 decks. Sometimes we'll do a little bit more if we got more time, and either build them from the ground up or upgrade and tweak them. The 3 decks we have going today are pretty simple. There is Fleam, Goben's Creation, which is Green Goblin in paper. This is a paper deck, but I want to use Fleam. This is basically going to be a Grixis self-discard value engine kind of build that I'm super excited to get together. I've been wanting to play discard for a while in Commander, so this one should be fun. Then we have a community submission. This is Silva's Lands Am I Right deck. Basically, it's their slightly upgraded Hearthhold Precon that we're going to be going through and tuning up from the ground up. In addition to this, we're going to be taking a look at Narset Enlightened Exile. Anyone who tuned in to the test stream knows that we took a crack at this there. However, this is a commander I've been wanting to build for a while, and thus I actually have 3 other full deck lists for this thing as far back as the end of 2023. So we're going to take a look at all 3 of these deck lists and then kind of average them together to make the final build that I'm going to be putting together for paper builds. And we're going to do that. And then when these 3 builds are done, we're going to probably head over to Arena and play a couple of rounds of Standard. So that is all of this. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's start things off with Fleam Goben's Creation. So, our commander, Fleam, is 1 and a Grixis for a 3/3 Goblin Human Villain with Flying and Menace. Spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less to cast, and each non-land card in your graveyard has Mayhem. The Mayhem cost is equal to its mana cost. Then, okay, so let's get this going here. Basically, we can. It's gonna play very similar to like Anji Falconwrath, where we're giving spells madness, right? Well, we're trying to do the madness thing. And then the front side of the commander is Goben, Gene Splice Savant. 1 in a blue for 1/1 human scientist villain. He cannot be blocked. When he does combat damage to player, he connives, and then you can pay 4 and flip him over. So I definitely think we will be playing this commander for its front side a lot of the times, just to help smooth out our draws. And then when we're ready for him to do the thing, we'll flip him over to Fleam during our turn. Flying and Menace, huh? Yeah, so this is also a super evasive commander, so we could get away with some stuff like equipment and things. Let's first off, anytime I'm looking at discard at all, I want to play Monument to Endurance. This card is awesome. It just kind of does everything you want, right? 3 mana for an artifact. Whenever you discard a card, choose one that has not been chosen this turn. Draw, create a treasure token. Each opponent loses 3 life. Just clean, simple. It does a lot of work. You don't think it will, but believe me, it does. This is one of my favorite standard brews. And then we can, of course, do a quick Oracle search for when you discard. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that's a lot of results. Let's do a sort by EDH rack. By EDH rack. Got some root beer, thanks to Kai. Let's see. Well, yeah, well, Necropotence, right? But no. The backside of Berkey's good, right? Yeah. The Harnfell Horn of Bounty is actually what might be playing in this deck. Kind of like how we call our commander by its backside. We actually might not be casting Berkey's front side, but instead casting the backside. Because a free discard engine that then lets us exile the top 2 cards of our library. That's pretty good. Let's throw that in there. Sort of Feast of Famine. Nezahal. Yeah, Nezahal's great. So typically you're trying to reanimate this, and we're going to be doing some reanimator stuff. But you can also just like discard it to Goben for like a looter or something, or one of these free discard outlets. And then instead of costing 7 mana, he's only going to cost 5 mana. So that's pretty reasonable to cast, right? 7 is pretty reasonable to cast Commander too, but 5 is more reasonable, right? So 7/7 can't be countered, no maximum hand size. When they cast Night Creature spell, you draw a card, and then discard 3, exile him, he comes back. Pretty good. Mask of Memories. Oh, actually, that would be a decent one, but I don't think we need to play that one in this deck. Archon of Cruelty, of course, is going in. Like I mentioned, small Reanimator sub-theme going on here. We're putting stuff in the graveyard. We gotta bring it back somehow. Let's actually get over to the actual Moxfield one. I'd put this together all different, right? But here we are. Alright, so Archon of Cruelty. This creature enters attacks, target opponent attacks creature. Planeswalker of their choice, discards a card and loses 3 life. You draw a card and gain 3 life. So one of the best Reanimator targets. When I'm building decks nowadays in Commander, I'm usually going to try and take a few things I enjoy and kind of mush them together to make the Commander. So in this case, I'm taking some of the stuff I've been doing in Modern, and having a lot of fun with, as well as some of the stuff I've been doing in Standard and having a lot of fun with, and kind of just making them, combine into one deck. So Archon of Cruelty is a staple of the Modern deck, and I'd love to put it here. Let's see. When energy dies, each opponent discards 2. Yeah, this is an anti-opponent discard card. This is not the kind of spell we're doing. This is a discard engine that makes it so a creature can't be blocked. Put it there for now, but I think we have so many free discard outlets that I don't think we need to play Key to the City. Yeah, Brass's Tunnel Grinder is great. We can discard any number of cards, draw that many cards +1, and then it flips into a thing. Yeah, Descending is also so easy in this deck because we're discarding every turn. Ghostly Pilfer is fantastic. When they cast their commander, you draw a card. And God forbid that they're playing something like, what's that commander? Anything that casts from exile, that kind of thing. And then you can also just discard a card to make it can't be blocked this turn. It's a free discard outlet. It just churns through your hand as much as you want it to. Turgid, no thank you. We will not be playing this one. We can use our game changers elsewhere. Jax is the Troublemaker. Or discard a card. Yeah, it gives a copy of another creature you control when it dies. This one's fine. We'll put it in considering. Here we are, Archfiend of Ifnir, one of the big discard payoff cards. Probably one of the most oppressive cards available. In this deck, we can cycle it to draw a card, and then you can immediately cast it from Mayhem, right? Because it's cost 2 less, so you can just alright, cool, pay 2, discard this, draw a card, and then now I will pay him for 2 less, and it's like you didn't even pay the cycling. It just draws a card in addition to all of the stuff. Pretty good. Chainer Nightmare Adept. I mean, obviously, if we are doing reanimating stuff at all, this clause means we get to give our stuff haste. If we recast our commander in the late game, it comes down with haste. And then we also have discard a card, cast creature spell from our graveyard this turn. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's see, Locust God. What if we draw a card, make a 1/1, when it dies, return it. Not what we're looking for here. Shieldred. Let's see. Not what we're looking for here. We might play the other Shieldreds, but not this one here. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. If you're playing a self-discard deck, you have to play this card. It's just such a good, solid, do 5 things in one piece of cardboard, piece of card. So just discard your cards, you got some synergy, call it a day. So out to 2, then draw that many cards, second artifact, return artifact, and emblem. Not quite what we're looking for. Malcolm is a house. I don't think people know about this card enough. I'm starting to see it pop up in standard deck lists, and good, it should be there. This card's great. Obviously, it dies to a Stiff Breeze as a 2/1 for 2 mana, but it's got flash, it's got flying, and whenever you use combat extra player, you put a counter on it, you draw a card, then discard a card, and then if you have 4 counters on him, you cast this card without paying its mana cost. It's a free discard draw. It's amazing. It's very, very good. Putting that one in for sure. Smuggler's Copter is pretty good as well. When it attacks or blocks, draw this card. It's super easy to crew. The front face of our commander can crew it before it even grows. That's great. Red spells cost 1 less. We have creature play discard card. Not quite what we're looking for discard engines. No, not quite. This is great. You discard a card, does 1 damage to opponent. You discard draw card. This creature is attacking. I will put Grindelwald Buccaneer in here because of this part. I don't know if this will happen very often, but you know, swing in with a 2/4 and then pay 4 mana, discard 2, draw 2, and then see how that goes. Seems decent. We could just kind of when your opponents control maybe 1 life, if they do draw a card, and then huge spell. Listen, considering we need to make sure we're playing enough cards to refill our hand, but we have blue uh, in our identity, so we don't even have to play the black ones. We can play just the straight up blue ones. Maybe you discard a card, you make that card from the graveyard if you play that card this turn. Yeah, so this is like a backup for our commander. I know a lot of people like to put redundant effects to their commanders in their decks. I personally just believe if I need the effect, my commander will be in play for it. Some more like high priority effects we could maybe go for redundancy, but we don't need that here. Draw the discard, artifact, scariness, no. Inti. Oh gosh, this card's a house here too. Whenever you attack, discard a card. When you do, put a counter and it gains trample, and then whenever you discard one of our cards, exile the top. You can play that to your next end step. Pretty good, pretty good. All rounder. Artist talent. Here we go. Bone Miser. Waste not for yourself. Discard a creature card, make a 2/2. Discard a land card, make a add 2 mana. Discard a non-creature, non-land card, draw a card. Easy as pie. This is a good one. I like Bitter Reunion. Wait, where's the discard part? Oh, discard a card. Not really what we're looking for here. Same here. Discards a card. Not super high priority. But it is also a discard engine. Let's just fix this real quick. Bear with me, guys. Okay. Witch King of Angmar. After one or more creatures deal common damage to you, each opponent sacks a creature of their choice that deal common damage to you this turn. And then discard a card. It gains indestructible to end a turn. Tap it. I mean, this is pretty good at making sure they don't want to hit you ever, right? So we'll play this for now, and we'll probably wind up cutting it later. Ral, Crackling Wit. This card's great. This is part of the standard deck stuff I was talking about. This was a all-star in the Monument deck I was playing. Psychic Frog is half the reason that we are glad this card is in Grixis. I was going to try building like Celeste from Final Fantasy as my discard commander, but I really wanted to play Psychic Frog. I know it's a super strong card, but I personally really like the card a lot. I got a bit of a sentimental attachment to it because I was in the crowd when they spoiled it in Chicago. You'll notice that's a thing that I randomly clash on the cards. Usually they wind up being fairly powerful. But I put Psychic Frog in any commander deck I'm allowed to put it in where it makes sense to play, and this card makes sense to play in this deck for sure. It's a free discard outlet, so we can trigger the backside of our commander to make all our spells cost 2 less. When it hits, we draw cards, which is something we're looking for, and we can also exile cards from our graveyard to gain flying to give this evasion if that's what we're looking for as well. Let's see. Unctus is a cool one, but not what we're looking for in this deck. First activate artifact returns 2 activate. I just don't think we're going to do enough artifact stuff. Sauron the Dark Lord is a good candidate for like a big creature we can reanimate or just cast for cheaper because of the reduction from our commander. So, Ward, sack a legend. So it's basically impossible to kill unless they kill their own commander to kill him. And then when they cast a spell, you amass orcs, and when an army deals count damage to ring tempts you, you may discard your hand if you do draw 4 cards. It's pretty good, right? Like, just lets you reset your hand. If you discard your whole hand for free by hitting them with an orc on your next turn, you have all your mana available to then cast all these spells from your hand for 2 less. Just an all-around banger of a card. I'm going to stick that one in there for sure. Rona's going to be the first of the looters we include. When you cast a legendary spell, you untap her, draw on the discard, and then you can also flip her into like a weird Phyrexian Obliterator kind of thing. Very cool card. We're playing it for the draw discard, but this has got some good text as well. Surly Badgersaur. So this is another one of the self-waste knots, right? So discard a creature card, put a counter on this creature, discard a land card, make a treasure token. When you discard a non-creature, non-land, fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Great, easy peasy. Fear of missing out. Once again, standard thing. This card is just amazing. People aren't playing it enough in Commander. 2 mana for a 2/3 that lets you loot. Sorry, rummage, discard, then draw. And then if you have Delirium, which is super easy in Commander, we're playing so many artifacts and non-creature spells. Uh, you get double combats for one creature, sure, but that's usually all you need, right? That's great. Sorcerer class, 2 mana, ETB, draw 2, discard 2. Then creatures you control have tap, add blue or red. Uses only to cast instant sorcery or gain a class level. Interesting. You cast an instant or sorcery spell that spell deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of instant sorceries you cast this turn. Huh. You know, these classes are really cool from this set. I was really hoping we would go back to D&D at some point to get another pass at them, to make like commander-sized versions of these spells. This one's great. This one's very cool. Not quite what we're looking for in this deck, but very cool. Rottenmouth Viper. Yeah, this card's great. We're going to put it in the deck. Stack a bunch of redundant crap. We're going to have a bunch of stuff that like enters and discards cards and draws cards. And then when it enters or attacks, you put a blight counter on it. For each blight counter on it, they lose 4 life. Just a great, oppressive, big creature to reanimate. So, here's a Zombies card. Neheb. Neheb is a great discard outlet. Big creature. Awesome. This is FOMO at home. Charming Scoundrel. We're gonna pass on Charming Scoundrel. Oh, Sphinx's Tutelage. This card's a house. I got killed by this deck, by someone including this randomly in a card, in their deck rather, against my mono red deck. So sure enough, oops, like because they doubled the mill, and so I milled 4, and then I'm gonna mill 4. And look at that, there's 2 red cards, and my whole library was just gone for 3 mana. It was ridiculous. Shortland Looter. There's no one else to play a draw card, and this card unless you have 7 more cards. Yeah, you know, don't hate these looters that hit and draw cards, to be honest with you. I think we're getting a little heavy on the ways to discard cards, so we're going to look for payoffs mostly. You discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard to draw, discard, tap, a card access into your graveyard. Yeah, Currency Converter is great. If our commander is not online yet, then you can, cash it in. But also, like, if we have, maybe we only have enough mana to cast 1 spell, we can put, we discard 2, put the one we are going to cast into the graveyard, because it's a May, and then the other one can go underneath the converter to be turned into treasures or creatures. It's a good card. No Smite Dragon's a little much. His opponent discard. This is Currency Converter, but much, much, much worse. Merciless Fence is a cool land. Oh yes, Kiora the Rising Tide's gotta be in here. ETB, draw 2, discard 2. When it attacks it, if you have Threshold, you make an 8/8. It's great. Transpose, draw, discard. You lose 1 life. You're supposed to cast your hand, make a wizard, rebound. I like this. And it's 1 mana off our commander too. Cool. Not what I'm looking for. Not what I'm looking for. Don't want to discard my own cards at random. Here we go. Whenever we discard a card at random, just 1 out of each opponent. Not quite. Alright, Nicol Bolas the Ravager. This one's fun. Much like our Fleam here, is a flip card, but not quite one we want to play. No. Draw this card. The Ancient one, huh? Yeah, let's try this guy out. 2 mana, 8/8. Seems decent. Future attacks, pay 1, discard a card if you do draw a card. When you discard 1 or more non-land cards, you may exile 1 of them from your graveyard. If you do, you may cast it this turn. Okay. So this is a little bit more redundancy for the commander. Not what we're looking for. Whenever day becomes night or dawn. So we're gonna play the Celestis. My play group likes day night, so I understand if you don't like day night and you don't think it's worth playing. This card is really good. It's just a 3 mana artifact. You let you draw a card whenever it becomes day or night, right? You're gonna make it to become nighttime, and then it's gonna stay nighttime forever. So daytime, and this is daytime forever. Because if someone's not casting a spell in Commander, it's a problem, right? They've probably lost the game. So you're gonna get maybe 1 or 2 cards from this, but you also have a cash out of 3 mana, draw, discard card. It's a good 3 mana rock. We have a few others we're gonna play when we get to the mana rock section. Yes, I actually really like Kaito Shizuki. I like this card a lot because of Canadian Highlander. I played an Esper initiative list for a while that was using Kaito to a great effect. So we'll move on from there. Yes, Kefka Court Mage is something I want to play. And then Magmakin Artillerist. You discard 1 more cards, does damage to each opponent. This card did 1 damage to each opponent. This is like a Cycle Storm card. That's cool. There's Cool Claw. Yes, Kaido Cutting Infiltrator. I love this card. Jacefen Prodigy is another great looter. Moving along now. Clive is gonna draw us minimum 3 cards if we have our commander in play. So I'm okay with Clive. Invasion of Kaldheim's front side is actually kind of a nombo. Exile cards from your hand, then draw that many cards. But Pyre of the World Tree, discard a land. Okay, actually don't mind. We're not playing this one. Draw, then discard. Creature, can we block this turn? That's cool. Okay, looks like we're running out of stuff to do here. Oh, the Jackdaw. No. Here, Crypt Caller Chariot. So, next thing we're going to do is we are going to go to everyone's favorite set from this year, Aether Drift. I believe it's AFD. No. Oh, no, it's DFT. Right. It's DFT for Aether Drift. Okay, there we are. Okay, so Aether Drift, set DFT, and then we're going to do Oracle Text, discard. Aether Drift had a pretty good draw discard theme. Yeah, here's Captain Howler. This card is a house in discard decks. He's just huge. 4 mana, 5/4, ward 2, pay 2 life. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, target creature gets +2/+7 on a turn for each card discarded this way. Whenever that creature deals count, and if you play this turn, you draw a card. So this stacks. Okay, this stacks. It's not once a turn or anything like that. So if you have like a Psychic Frog in play, you discard a card of Psychic Frog, put a counter on it, give it +2/+0, and then it's gonna draw 2 cards when it hits. And you discard another card. It's gonna get +2/+0 again. And then it's gonna draw 3 cards when it hits. Repeat. With an unblockable commander, this is pretty good. This is pretty good with the front side of our commander. So we're gonna play Captain Howler here. You have haste when you attack a pilot and a vehicle attacks combat. This is gonna be great when we eventually build Falco, which is another deck we're looking at some point. Not here. Interesting. Exhaust, discard up to 2 cards, and discard 20 cards. Right, we gotta put Tursa in here. Taking a lot of the stuff out of the VV Cauldron deck. Discard a card, then draw 2 cards. Okay. So I want to play Marnie Wako in this deck. Worst case scenario, this is a 3 mana draw a card. Put this into play from Mayhem, right? But best case scenario, you play this guy on 1, you commander on 2, and then you just get huge creatures super quick and just pivot into super aggressive strategy. Lantern Breaker, each one size creature. Not what I'm looking for. Player's hand. Opponent. Discard 1 more cards. Engines. Discard a card, draw a card. Let's turn. Okay, cool. Alright, so let's check our deck list out. We're at 39 cards already. That's pretty impressive. Got a lot of both payoffs and rewards. So let's quickly go in and grab our veggies. So let's get talismans. So typically I like to play, I do tend to wind up playing a lot of 3 mana rocks. This commander really incentivizes spells that cost 2 colorless because we get to cast them for free if we discard them when the commander's already in play. So very good there. Arcane Signet. Then we're gonna go for type artifact. Mana value equals 2. Sort EDH rec. We'll do a thought vessel. We shouldn't have an issue with maximum hand size. Actually, we'll do Mindstone instead. Oh, yes, then we'll have our Namir signets. Active signet. Is it signet? Nothing here, nothing there. Right. We need to go grab the Soul Stone. Man. Do we really have to play the Soul Stone? You know, we don't have to play the Soul Stone, but I do actually think it'd be good in this deck. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, folks, remember we're playing Commander. You don't have to play the best cards at all times. Soulstone, I like it. You don't have to play it. Believe me. Alright. So we're a little heavy on the ramp. A little bit more than I'd like. Let's also get Soul Ring in here. And then we'll cut down from here. Ooh. I love how often they're doing new art for Soul Ring. It's just such a cool card to get new art. Let's drop out some of these, right? Mindstone. 8 pieces of ramp. That's about where I'd want it. Let's go grab mana value equals 3 type artifact sort EDH rec. Let's go grab some 3 mana rocks too. I want to play a few of these fun ones. If it lets me. Yeah, Cursed Mirror is a card I always enjoy having in play. Midnight Clock is great at refilling our hand. Just don't play it super early. Yeah, so we don't really need any of those ones. Let's keep going here. Dark Steel Plate, Mirage Mirror. Steam Talisman's not half bad. Yeah, Staff of Completion. We only want to do 2 of these things, so we're not going to play it. What's the... It's Sonic Screwdriver? It's... that one. Can't be blocked, right one. And then I think it's Laser Screwdriver. Might be the one I'm looking for. It's Surveil, not discard a card. So we'll not play that one. Alright. So, how much draw do we have before we attack? Because I want to see if I can play Parapsychotic Memory. We have an okay amount. Okay, let's get Tersa Light Shatter in here. Card is great. Let's also get Quantum Riddler. This card is a house, guys. If you haven't played with this card before, oh my goodness. You just draw so many cards. For 2 mana, you get a card, and then for 5 mana, you get another card. And if you have no cards in hand, or if, I don't know, you discard your whole hand to Psychic Frog before you trigger your Riddler, whew, it's good. Alright, let's go ahead and grab Reanimate. We'll do Reanimate, Rise of the Dark Realms, Animate Dead, no, when we put this, we can play Exhume, right? That's the each player puts a card in play. What other reanimation spells do we want to play? Oh yeah, Cartage. Oh, whoops. Crimson Chaos. Go for it. Abhorrent. Horrid Oculus. Deck is shaping out here. We are in Grixis, so we have access to a lot of interaction. We're going to play Chaos Warp. We're going to play Chaos Warp, Drown in the Lock. Chaos Warp, Drown in the Lock, Arcane, Denial, Cyclonic Rift, Blasphemous Act. Let's see. Cyclonic Rift, Blast Act. Let's also do Deadly Tempest, I believe? What's the name of the card? No. Oracle. Destroy all creatures. Oracle. Draw. Decree of Pain. There it is. I want Decree of Pain. It's a really good one. Okay. And then Pinpoint Removal, we have the Drown in the Lock, Chaos Warp, into the Floodmaw. I know this isn't technically removal, it's a bounce spell, but I like this one a lot. Let's also do... we have access to black mana. What other game changers do we think we're going to play in this deck? Not Adnos, we'll die instantly. I want Consecrated Sphinx. I could see a Fierce. Our commander's pretty important. We have a 2-mana commander. We're playing Jessica's Will. Yeah, and none of these other ones are jumping out at me. Bowmaster's a game changer? Huh. I thought Bowmaster... You know? It deserves to be a game changer. I'm just surprised it's on the list. I thought it wasn't there. Yeah, I'm going to play Cyclonic Rift, Consecrated Sphinx, and Jessica's Will as our 3 game changers in this deck. Just very good targets for these things. Let's switch this to a normal printing. Oh, goodness. I forgot how many goofy ones they got. Here we go. Conic Masters. I mean, it's a creature, right? It's not a... It looks weird. But... I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, our kill spells, our rule's pretty light. I do like Rise of the Dark Realms here. Let's go ahead and put our lands in real quick. Sort by EDH Relic. Okay. Command Tower for sure. Paducah Bog, yeah. We are trying to go bigger, so we will do a Marion Landscape in this deck. I like to play on-color fetches, just the 3 of them, and then I would do off-color if I have a reason, like I'm playing Fill the Dead or whatever. Not doing Fill the Dead here, so we're not going to play that. Watery Grave, Fabled Passage, Urborg. Goodness. I cannot believe Urborg is at $50. Steam Vents, Blood Crypt, Otawara. Morphic Pool. Training Center. Luxury Suite. We are so spoiled by the land we have in Commander. Just like mana is so free. It's just so free. Sink into Stupor. This isn't a bounce land deck. For the Profane. Okay. Type land Verge. Let's go get all 3 of our Verges in here. These cards are amazing. You should be playing them in your deck. These are lands that should be $50 good if they weren't heavily played. And they're seeing standard play, and they're still under 15 for most of them, which is ridiculous. They're seeing play as far back as Modern. Play your Verges, guys. They're really good. Surveil, Set, MKM. What did I do wrong? Raucous Theater. I misspelled Surveil. Raucous Theater, Thundering Falls, Undercity Sewers. I believe it's TLD for Thermal Drain, or is it ELD? Yes. I would like to play with Witch's Cottage and Mystic Sanctuary. Is MDFC type land. Agadeem's Awakening is just a great land slot. Bloodsoaked Insight's great. Cost 1 less to cast for each 1 life your opponent's lost this turn. Target opponent looks at the top 2 cards of the library until the end of your next turn. You can play those cards. We've got Trawler's another Graveyard Hate Piece. Glasspool Rock's pretty good. I'll play that one here. We have a lot of high value non-legends. Hagar Mauling is a kill spell on a land. Seagate Restoration is an amazing card, but not quite what we're looking for. No, we actually do want to double our hand. This is actually pretty important. Thinking Super. Sonic Eruption is great. Relic Awakening is amazing. Okay. So 23 lands. So we have played our Fetches, our Shocks, our Surveils, our Verges, our Command Tower, our Fabled Passage. Let's go grab our basics. Blue, blue, black, black, red, red. And we'll do 1 extra of each. 32, 42 including MDFC. It's about where I like to be. We can drop out the Fabled Passage, and then we can keep it like this. 31 and then 41 including MDFC. I treat the MDFC is basically a full land. If I'm playing 10 of them, which is where I usually am at, then this is great. You get me up to 41 lands all day, every day. So, we're playing a fair amount of ramp. So we're going to go trim the Signets and leave the Talismans. So, technically it is probably more optimal to play the 2 mana ramp spells. However, our commander costs 2. So we have a little bit of a push and pull here. If we play front side of our commander, Gobin, it's 2 mana to cast him, right? And we don't need to ramp on 2 because we have a 2 mana play always. Whereas if we play a rock on 3, we go commander on 2, 3 mana rock, go to our next turn, it's turn 4. We can flip our commander from play or cast him out of exile, or from the man zone rather, just on turn 3, or turn 4 rather. You can do the same thing on, and then like have a mana open to discard to something, and then like cast it for 2 less, like an Abhorrent Oculus or Cure or Trista or whatever, right? But you know, it's a little itchy because like also once the commander's already flipped, you want to play the 2 mana rocks for 2. So push and pull, a little iffy here and there, but I think this is a good number. So we're still playing Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, Talisman, 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 Soulstone, and then we have Curse Mirror, Midnight Clock, Celestis, all in the like fun ramp slots. So I like this. Then Animate Dead, Bitter Reunion, Fable Mirror Breaker, Floodmaw, Arcane Dial, Cast Warp, Saint Stupor, Transpose, Fell Profane, Hanger Mauling. Let's drop the Transpose. Stunning Eruption just as well. Themes, Reanimate, Rise of Dark Realms. Rotmoth Viper, Sauron as a whole, Arcana Cruelty, Consecrated Sphinx. We'll drop the Ancient one. GVP, Malcolm, Rona, Pilfer. We'll drop the Mako. What does I like having on turn 1 play? I just need the room. More creatures deal common damage to you. Each opponent sacrifices a creature that dealt damage to you this way. The ring tempts you. I mean, most commander tables, this means you should never get attacked unless they kill you. So, we're gonna leave that in. Archie's Ifnir is a little rude. Like it's a tough to beat card, but I don't mind it. I think we maybe drop. I'm looking at the list, and I actually do have a fair number of legends. Most of them have like enters effects I care about. Like, does it work the way I want it to? Okay, for those of you who don't have a bunch of stupid rules stuck in your head, Carnage says when it enters, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less when you go to the battlefield, gains all this other text. Glasspool Mimic enters as a copy of a creature you control, except as a rogue. Glasspool Mimic enters, copies Carnage, Legend Rule kills the creature, then trigger goes on the stack, Carnage trigger, return, 3-drop, enters as Carnage, Legend Rule, kill the Glasspool Mimic, reanimate the Glasspool Mimic. Is that an infinite... Is that a 2-card? Does Carnage go infinite creature ETB with any mana value 3 or less, any mana value 3 or less clone? That's crazy if he does. Huh. We don't have any 3 mana clones in standard right now, but if they give us one, that'd be a really cool graveyard combo deck. Because, like, he even gets back the clone to get the combo going. Huh. Very cool. Look at this self-sack out. It's the whole, like, very, very interesting. We don't have a payoff for that, but that is a thing that exists in this deck that we should keep in mind. If someone else has a payoff, that we can do that. Do we have a way? Do we have, like, when a creature dies? I don't want to, like, put a combo in here for, like, that. That's not really what we're trying to do in this deck, but, it's very interesting. That is how that works, though. I am describing an effect that is how that would work. Huh. Animate Agony's Waking Rise Dark Girls Must act as well. Oh, okay. I do want to put some more big creatures in here. Specifically, I'm thinking of Barragoyf from MH3. It's keyword big. It also draws cards. And then I also want to go grab, what's the name of that big creature? Superior Spider-Man. Just look up Spider-Man, and we'll grab the ones that we can play. Superior Spider-Man. Oh yeah, and Symbiote Spider-Man. These are both great cards to put in this deck. We'll drop Kaito Shizuki. This Kaito is better than Kaito Shizuki in this deck because we get the guaranteed draw, discard, and the unblockable. And he gets big pretty quickly. We'll drop the Ral. We don't cast many non-creature spells. Thought we'd wind up with a few more than we did. We're gonna drop the Bloodsoaked Insight because we're still at 40, including MDFC. I don't want to go any lower than this. 9 MDFCs and 31 real lands is still kind of pushing it a little bit. Not gonna lie to you, but especially without the Triome. Set. Well, we'll create C type. And that will give me the Triumph I need. Xander's Lounge. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Bitter Reunion, Animate Dead. Maybe we can drop the Bitter Reunion. And then we can drop the Key to the City. So, I typically like to have a little bit more protection slash interaction than I do here. I have Arcane Dial, Drown in the Lock, Sink the Stupor for protection. And my kill spells are Drown in the Lock, Chaos Warp, Feather Profane, Hanger Mauling, and the Flood Maw. Is there like a... No, I think I'm okay accepting that I have a little bit less removal than I would typically like, because we're gonna try and be the threat like immediately. This adorable little guy is a villain. He's up to some mayhem. You understand? We're playing a few extra Spider-Man cards, not because of the theming or whatever, but because they're actually just really good in this archetype. Uh, but I think we're gonna lock this in as the deck list, and we're gonna get this ordered for myself here very shortly. This one's very, very fun, it looks like. Let's take a moment to go over the strategy of this deck before we move on, so you understand my decisions and why I think this deck belongs in bracket 3 and not 2 or 4, right? So our commander is an engine on its own. So when you're thinking about what bracket you're building at, I recommend taking a look at your commander's abilities. You can have the worst deck ever, but if your commander is Corvold, your deck's going to be stronger. If your deck is Cannon and you're playing a bunch of mana dorks, your deck's going to be stronger than you think it is. There are many, many commanders like this. A lot of precon commanders are like this nowadays, where they make the commander for the precon inherently strong and they give you a decent deck so it evens itself out and makes it so you can play with most of the tables. We saw this for sure with like Y'shtola and Tidus, and even to a lesser extent Cloud from the Final Fantasy precons, Hearthhole, which we're going to get to in a little bit, uh, from the End of Eternity's precons, is just an insane value engine. We've seen a lot of very strong commanders like this. This commander is great. You have a 2 mana play, which is so nice to have in commander. Everyone else is playing mana rocks and ramping and all this other stuff, and you're deploying a threat that's going to just take up commander damage slowly but surely. And then you have a value engine. If you flip them over, if you have any of your free discard outlets, all of your spells cost 2 less to cast. That's so strong. I intentionally went through the deck as I was building it and trying to include as many colorless and then light colored pips as possible in here. So you have Abhorrent Oculus, Baragoyf, we casted the backside of this one, a Bogart Trawler, Kiora, Superior Symbiote Spider-Man, Tursa, all in the like 2 and a colored pip area, right? As well as you have all these mana rocks. Currency Converter, Soul Ring, Arcane Sanet, Sunlight Disruptor, Talisman of Creativity, all of these cost nothing if you have your commander in play. And then you just cast them for free. Done. Easy peasy. Right? So that's great. Yeah. So the main idea behind this deck is we're going to play our commander on 2, nice and early. Get in, hit people, draw cards, get a little commander damage up, build out our value engine, and then when we're ready to just pop off, we flip the commander into Fleam, and then just discard 3 cards, cast them all for 1 pip instead of 3 or 4 mana, and just go crazy. And then in the late game, we have very good like interactive pieces. We have Archfiend of Ifnir, which is just super oppressive. If you get this thing in play with like a Psychic Frog, the game is over for your opponents unless they can kill this thing immediately. You have value engines in Bone Miser and the Agasaur, which is over here somewhere in the 4 mana. There it is. So just as well as the Monument to Endurance, I think is another copy of this for us. Additionally, we have a lot of big things to reanimate. So we're discarding cards. We want to make sure we can use the graveyard in some way. So we have Quantum Riddler, great as a 2 mana draw card. Also good at late game as a 5 mana draw card. And then if you discard it early, you can reanimate it and just draw extra cards. Witch King of Agmar is a 5/3 flyer, so that's great. As well as making it so if your opponents hit you, your creatures die. And it's also a free discard outlet that can block forever. Just a big old pile of text that we just love here. Clive's another Final Fantasy banger. Discard your hand to draw the cards equal to devotion to red. There's a lot of red pips amongst the spells here if you're looking, but also our commander's got one in the mana value, so minimum 3 cards. 6 mana, 5/5. Discard your hand, draw 3 cards. Your next spells cost 2 less. Pretty good. Consecrated Sphinx is one of our 3 game changers here at bracket 3. This is one of those cards, obviously, there's no game changers in 2, but beyond the whole game changers thing, this is one of those cards that you wouldn't want to play in a precon environment, because if you get one turn rotation with Consecrated Sphinx in play, you probably are going to win that game. That is going to draw you 8 cards. Minimum. Right? Because someone's going to draw an extra card in their turn. They always do it. They always do it. I've had games of Commander where I reanimated Consecrated Sphinx on 4, and somebody was like, well, I need to cast my 4 mana draw 4, otherwise I'm out of this game. And they just let me draw all those cards. And another guy, at the same time, had the kill spell for the Sphinx and didn't use it. This card is amazing in Commander. It's the reason it's a game changer, and it's one of the best cards in this deck by virtue of it just being strong. Rottenmouth Viper can come in. You can sack a bunch of your crap to make it come in cheaper, or just, play it for 2 less when you discard it. And whenever it enters or attacks, you just make each opponent suffer a terrible fate. Star in the Dark Lord is a ridiculous card. This is one of those commanders that I had put together and had to take apart because it was just too strong. But in the 99, it's pretty good. It's just an unkillable 7/6 that makes you bodies and then lets you rebuy your hand at later in the game. It's just so good. It's so good. Nezahal Primal Tide is both a discard outlet and a payoff for all of the reanimating we're trying to do. And then Archon of Cruelty is just one of the best reanimation targets in all of Commander. Obviously, it's only one opponent now, as opposed to in 1v1 where it's your only opponent, but still pretty good. It's still a 6/6 flyer that draws a card for you every turn and makes someone sack a creature. So, and then in the non-creature space here, we have Reanimate, Jessica's Will, our second game changer, Decree of Pain, Blasphemous Act. So what stops this thing from being a 4? If you wanted to play this thing at higher power levels, what should we do here? So if you wanted to go stronger with this deck, I'd recommend going for more of a Reanimator theme than I did. A lot of these really fun cards, like Surly Badgersaur, Bone Miser, these are cards that are great as you're like accruing value and building up a big thing. But in bracket 4, typically you don't have the time to do that, right? You typically want to be playing more combo focused or more interactive. This deck could absolutely be a highly interactive, like Crixus mid-range deck with a combo finish. We didn't go for that. We went just for all in on mid-range. So you could go stronger with this. I played a lot of expensive fun cards as opposed to the most optimal whatever. Like Toxic Deluge. Toxic Deluge should probably be in this deck. It's 3 mana Wrath. Super good. I instead chose to play Decree of Pain in the same slot. It costs way more, but it has a discard ability, so we draw a card, and then we give all creatures -2/-2. Our commander's a 3/3, it survives, and if we have any of our discard payoffs in play, we get to draw extra cards or make treasures or do any number of things. So, is it the most optimal card? No. Is it the most fun card in the slot? Yes. And that's one of the big things you see in brackets 3 and 2, which is why I like these way more than 4 and 5. Obviously, I'm still playing some of the super staples. I have Blasphemous Act in my deck. I have Jessica's Will. I have Reanimate. These are all cards that are unbeatable for their costs. But I want to play some fun stuff too, and that's why we got Decree of Pain. I'm playing Rise of the Dark Realms. I don't think you can get away with Rise of the Dark Realms in 4. This should probably be another kill spell of some kind, more interaction, more ways to keep yourself from dying. But I'm playing a fun card because this is a bracket 3 deck and not a bracket 4 deck, right? Down in the instance, where our third game changer is Cyclonic Rift. I wanted a powerful, expensive spell here, and that's what I went for. I went for Cyclonic Rift. I like when my board wipes either end the game immediately, just so we can play more games, right? Because nothing is worse than when you're looking at a board, you got Wrath 5 turns ago, You've had really nothing to do since then. Two other players are overloaded on the board. The fourth player is dead. And you look at your hand, and you got a Wrath that doesn't do anything for your board state. And you're sitting there, and you're just like, well, optimally, I should cast this Wrath, wipe their boards, and try and rebuild from there. But now the commander game is going to go for another 2 hours, and the other guy over there, well, he doesn't have anything, and now all your resources are gone, and just it's a mess. So I try as much as possible to play board wipes that either are one-sided or do something in addition to board wiping, or have some other function outside of when it's wrath time. So that way I can use them more proactively, uh, get them, play them, and then end the game and move on to the next game of Commander because Commander's got a big time issue. So, Decree of Pain, Cyclonic Rift, Blasphemous Act, those are the routes we're going for. As far as interaction, we're also a little bit light, kind of intentionally. Uh, we picked up Arcane Denial, Drown the Lock, and Sink into Stupor as our counter spells. Sink is more of a pickup, whatever. We have Into the Flood Maw, Chaos Warp, and then Fellow Profane and Hangman Mauling as our removal. Uh, these are lands that also are kill spells. Uh, they're great. I play Hangman Mauling and Fellow Profane in any deck I can play them in, as long as I can get a hold of copies of them. You should too, honestly. They're phenomenal. This is just an untapped land. It's ridiculous. And then the artifacts, I'm playing all the stuff you'd imagine. Another thing that's like what would take this from a 3 to a 4 would be switching out Curse Mirror and Midnight Clock for Signets or other 2 mana rocks. I like Curse Mirror is just awesome. We play a lot of large creatures in my local meta, and so being able to just go, yeah. You know how you reanimated that big thing last turn? Boop, I have it now, and I'm gonna hit you with it immediately. And then after that, it's just a mana rock. It's super fun. And then I personally love Midnight Clock. This deck has a lot of discard, so you want to refill your hand. I was considering like an Echo of Eons, but uh, I figured that it would be better to just do Midnight Clock and do it that way. Something you would definitely see in a 4 would be probably some more wheels. This would be a good wheels commander, but I'm playing 0 that affect the table. Just because I didn't have the slots for it. I had too many fun cards, and I wanted to play those. Like Crypt Crawler Chariot. Is this card the best card you can play against slot? Probably not. Do I care? No. It's going to make me a lot of zombies, and it's going to attack you for 5. It's going to be fun. And then we have Animate Dead and Fable of the Mirror Breaker, as well as 32 real lands and 41 MDFCs. But yeah, that is our first deck for today. It's Fleem's Goban's Creation. We're going to go on to our next build here in just a minute. I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back. All right, so we have just wrapped up going over Fleam. This is the first deck we went through. We just went through all of it again, so no need to go back over it. We're going on to the next deck build for tonight, and this is our first community submission. You can thank our moderator, Silva, for the first submission here. This is the Hearthhole Precon. Oh, whoops, I did Hearthhome on the overlay there. Hearthhole. Bear with me, folks. There we go. This is the Hearthhole Precon. So, we have a Patreon that you can see in the description of this video. If you go in there and add to the Patreon at any level, you will immediately be at the option to submit decks for this exact show. We're going to be doing 3 decks a week, pretty much every week. So as long as we have community submissions, we'll be doing community builds. Otherwise, we'll be doing stuff for people in my local scene. So Silva has submitted the form over here. So let's see if they are online and ready to go. Hi, folks. Let's see. Silva, are you here? I'm about to do your deck. Awesome. Thank you, Silva, for letting me know. So going through this list real quick. So Silva submitted their deck. They have a completed list that wants to be tweaked. They don't mind any bracket. Well, I'd say the deck started at 2, so we're going to go up to 3 with this one. We have the Moxfield link right here. And then Silva said that they wanted to be present for their tune-up, and they had nothing specific they had in mind. So, let's take a look at what they have, see if we identify any locations that need to be switched out, and make about 10-15 changes, yeah? Alright, so the commander is Hearthhole the World Seed. So 1 and a Jund for a spacecraft. When it's online for 2, you can pay 1 and tap it to sack a land, draw 2 cards, and then play an additional land this turn. And then when it's 8, Flying, Vigilance, Haste, 6/7. Whenever you sacrifice a land, each opponent loses 2 life. I alluded to this earlier in the Fleam section of this video, but Hearthhole is an amazing commander. Just absolutely amazing. This draws so many cards immediately, and lets you do the whole like play lands from graveyard, sack lands, or play lands thing that I'm super proud, happy to deal with in Commander. So we're looking for cards that say sacrifice on them. We're looking for cards that say landfall on them, and we're also looking for ways to get our lands back from the graveyard. That's the main thing we're doing here. We also want to make sure we have a free land sacrifice outlet, so that way when our commander hits 8, we can just cash all of our lands in and kill the table. So let's see here. Aftermath Analyst. It's a great card. So glad they included it. Jury. Sacrifice a permanent, put a counter on Jury. When she dies, deal damage to the target. That's pretty good. Sucker Tribe Elder. Satyr Wayfinder. Enters reveal the top 4 cards of your library, put a land from them into your hand, rest of your graveyard. What is this one? Enters if it was kicked for a land card. Basically, type real up into your hand. And then red, tap, sack a land, draw a card. Huh! Redundancy for your commander's effect. That's pretty cool. Augur of Autumn. Okay, so there's immediately a candidate for something. Let's pop over to our copy of the deck and go from here. Let's move this Augur of Autumn to the considering. Don't think we're gonna wind up playing that card. Braids is obviously a house. If you've not played with this card recently in Commander, I know it's not been in a set until for a while, but this card is amazing. Seriously, guys. 3 mana, 3/3. Draw 3 cards every turn. They're not going to sack lands. You know, especially not going to do it on turn 3. They're not going to sack creatures, unless they're a token deck. They're not going to sack enchantments, ever. Unless they have randomly, like, shard tokens from that one Planeswalker that makes the enchantment clues. This card is great. You take a non-token permanent except the top card of your library. During your turn, as long as you've activated sacrifice another person, because exile with this creature. Okay, so second land add 2 mana. Great. Oh, we got a chat here from Thomas Uh, hey, which site are you using? I'm pretty new to MTG, and I have the Kilo Star Commander deck, which I am still learning with. I have Bloomborough and Ixalan boosters too. Well, welcome to the game, Thomas. This is the best place to build your decks. It is moxfield.com. It is completely free to use. Make your commander deck on here. It is integrated with the second best website for well, the best website for Magic, which is Scryfall. I don't know if you've ever seen it. We'll pop it open real quick for you. Uh, this is the best place for Magic the Gathering cards. If you learn how to search on this website here, it's going to be so powerful for your deck building tools. You'll see me doing it throughout the upgrade today because Scryfall's search is integrated into the search here on Moxfield, as well as EDH Rec, if you know about that website as well. Those are the three big places I'd recommend you look into for Commander. Kilo Apogee Mine is a great commander. I love that precon. I took the deck in a different direction. I went for the I kept the face commander the same and went all in on spacecraft. But if you wanted to play the more combo focused proliferate build, nope, all power to you. That card's great. If you wanted, we could take a look at that one in a little while here. But this is Moxfield. Not a sponsor of the channel yet. I'm going to try and get them to sponsor us because I love their website so much. It's cut off just a little bit. See if I can do it here. Yeah, so it's moxfield.com. Alright, fantastic. So back where were we on Hearthhole here? We were looking at Horizon Explorer was the next card we're looking at here. 3 mana for 2/4, land control, enter untapped. When you take a player, make a lander. This card's ridiculous, y'all. This card's so good. It's just another Amulet of Vigor. Just amazing. Ugh, just so good. Let's see. Lonecrafter Fawn, 3 mana for 3/3, enters. You may discard one or more land cards. When you do, permanent cards. Yeah, of course, Thomas. Anytime. We're here to bring everybody up, right? Commander is a community format. I want to make sure everyone's having the most fun they can have. Alright, so Lonecrafter Fawn. You may discard one more land when you do. Turn up that many target non-land permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, I don't like this one very much. I think I'd rather play Eternal Witness in that slot. We want to put lands in the graveyard by sacrificing them. We don't really care to discard them. This card, Mayhem Devil, is just great to have in any commander deck. If someone's playing Treasures or someone's playing Aristocrats, this lets you just completely take over the game. It's just great. Scouring Swarm, 3 mana for 1/1. This is one of the new cards from this deck. Amazing. It's just another Scoot Swarm, which is something I don't think we have in here, so we're going to get actual Scoot Swarm too. Splendid Moon Druid, great card. And it just investigates that clue. Counter, great. Power equals the number of land cards in your graveyard. Begin your upkeep, look at the top card of your library, put that card into your graveyard. 2 mana, second land, gain 2 life. Yeah, we're going to take Oog, Sparn of Tug, and put that into considering as well. Baloth Prime is awesome. Whenever you second land, you make a tap 4/4 and untap the creature. Takes 6 of these for it to come awaken, but it's a 10/10 for 4 mana. Just so good. Centaur Vine Crasher. It's 4 mana, 1/1. Travel. Counters on it. You can number land cards. All graveyards on this card. Pick green you to this card. Give it to your hand. Great. Recursive Threat. Gonna be huge when you eventually play it. I like this one a lot. Uminian Wastewaker. Attacks you and defending player each discard a card or sack a permanent. You draw a card for each land card put into a graveyard this way. Cool. Yeah. I mean, 4 mana, 4/4. When you attack your opponent, you discard one of the lands that you have in your hand, and then you draw. And then your opponent discards a card, and if they discarded a land, then you're gonna draw another card. Great. Play additional land, play with the top card of the library revealed, and maybe play land to the top of your library. Cool. We're gonna play a few more of the additional land creatures in here. It's one of the things I definitely wanted to look into adding. We're going to keep this one for now, but it may get trimmed. Soul of Grace. Enters or attack, put a land card from graveyard on the battlefield tapped under your control. Discard a land, gain 3, discard a land, draw a card, discard a land. It gets indestructible. Great. We should probably be playing the Planeswalker Wind Grace too. We'll look at that one in a minute. God Eternal Bantu. Second, any number of other permanents. Draw that many cards. Awesome. Perfect. This is exactly what we're looking for. Stack all of our lands, trigger our commander, kill the table. Corvold comes in the deck. Great. Enter the attack, second permanent, put a counter him, and draw a card. Mazrik. Wow. This precon's phenomenal, guys. If you have not looked at this deck list, it's so good. Whenever another player sacks anything, you put a count on each creature you control. It's great. Here's the Alt Commander. You play lands from your graveyard. Perfect. When you sack another permanent your turn, to one other turn creature. Great. The only way this could be better is if it was +1/+1 or charge counters, so it could charge up our commander faster. Yeah, so how I typically build decks, Thomas, is one of two ways. I either make a deck list online and then slowly buy all the singles through either like trading for people for them or buying them from my local game store. There's also a buy deck button where you can just order the whole thing on TCG Player. Uh, or what I also like to do is I just have a collection of cards. I've been playing the game for a couple years, and so I'll just be like, okay, well, I have these cards I want to play. Let's take these and take this precon and just mash them together and see what I can make, right? But typically this is how I go about it. I make the deck list online and then slowly accrue the cards over time. The thing about Commander, it's so nice, is the once the card's good, it's good for a long time. It's not going to be like other 1v1 Magic formats where decks become irrelevant after a few months. So if it takes you 3 months to get a new deck together, it's still going to be a good deck in 3 months. So this is why I tend to do it this way if I'm trying to optimize it, and then go from there. Right, Gitrog Monster. Ooh, okay. This is actually really important to remember. The Gitrog Monster is in this deck. This thing goes infinite with a ham sandwich, and so I need to pay attention. Don't want to put too many infinites in here. I definitely want to give Silver at least one, though. Titania, amazing card. Wow, they put more. Okay, great. Extra combats for each land you put in play. Very, very good. Multani. What is hand? Discard for the battlefield. This card's good. This card's good. I think I like this one a little bit more than the Centaur, but this is redundancy. Rampaging Baloths, great. Omnath, Brokers of Rage, and then Worldbreaker. Oh, is this why there's a waste in the deck for that one colorless pimp? That's funny. That's really funny. We're gonna cut this card into considering. We have better sack outlets for our lands. Oh, it comes with Pest Infestation. This card's great. I keep saying it, but these precons are so good. Farseek and Nature's Lore. Nice Whisper, World Soul's Rage. Oh, it comes with World Soul's Rage too. Man, that's so cool. Cultivate, Formless Genesis. Gaze of Granite. Destroy each element from X or less. Okay. I think we're going to switch this one out for a different Wrath. 2 force cards in the battlefield. Control land cards from the battlefield. Tapped. Each player chooses 6 lands they control and sacrifice the rest. Do 6 damage to each creature. Okay. Deal 30 damage to each creature and then escape the wild. Exile top 5, play additional land. Great. Not much to say there. Infernal Grasp, Rakdos Charm, Tear Asunder, Beast Within, Harrow, Putrefy, Roiling Regrowth, and Windgrace's Judgment. Game of opponents stretch out non-permanent land controls. Great. That's another one we can move to considering. Exploration, Broodship, Soul Ring, Signet, Hammer of Perforos. And then Binding the Old Gods. Okay, great. And then it comes with 42 lands. Holy. Well, we're going to be upgrading the land base. For sure. We've got a pre-cut mana base here. But this one's a little bit different than how I would normally build a mana base. We are intentionally trying to sacrifice our lands, and so we want things like Riveteer's Outlook. We want stuff like... It came with off-color, too. That's perfect. And the Maestro's Theater. These lands from New Capenna, if you don't know how they work, these are kind of like Evolving Wilds, and it's similar ilk. When it comes into play, you sack it, you go get one of the 3 type basics, put it into play tapped, shovel, gain life. They have to sacrifice when they come in, so it's works really well with your... If you have a payoff for like when a land is sacrificed, you drain them for 2 or whatever, right? you have that in play, if you brought all your lands into play tapped, your fetch lands, like your actual real fetch lands or like your Evolving Wilds, went into play tapped, and you wouldn't get to sacrifice them to get another trigger. All of these lands from Streets of New Capenna, there's 5 of them. Uh, they sacrifice themselves when they enter. This was a backbone for a standard combo deck that was playable at the time, which is really cool. But I love to see that they put all 3 of them in here. That's great. Command Tower, Dackmore Salvage, Hatchery, Maestro Theater. Yeah, so it looks like the main lands we're looking for that aren't in here are the more expensive ones. Uh, we'll twist those out for you today, Silva. I don't know if you're going to want to actually go and track them all down for this. I know you like the deck. Obviously, we own them, Silva, so you can borrow or proxy them for the list. But so let's see here. Okay, so we definitely got to do a land upgrade, so we'll come back to that at the end. So, what are the effects I think this deck is missing? I think it's a little light on land from graveyard effects. I'm seeing this one here. The commander itself can't do it. And then, what else is there? Is it just, yeah, that's the main thing I'm missing. I also want to see, the, what's it called? That artifact, the Zern Orb. I have Hugs, Ghostly Guardians, and is my commander for my first ground-up built deck. I have a dinosaur theme from Ixalan with guesswork mostly. Yeah, Hugs is a really cool commander. That one is very open-ended because all it really cares about is you casting it and drawing some extra cards from it. I think that's what Hugs is, right? Let's go see Skyfall. Yeah, so it's when it enters exile top. Oh yeah, and it's an extra land drop too. Yeah, this one's great. It's just it's ramp in the command zone because you can play extra lands, and then you excel top cards. You play those cards on your next turn. Cool. Yeah, very cool card. All right, so let's get. So Crucible of Worlds is like $25, and you don't need to play it anymore. That's the best part. It's expensive, but you don't need to play it. Because we have, from Duskmorn, what's that room card called? Type room. I'll find it in a second. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Walk-in Closet. So this is Crucible of Worlds, but it's an enchantment. Costs 3 mana. You can play lands from your graveyard. And then later in the game, you can pay 5 and cast spells from your graveyard this turn. Just Yogg Will. Stable to your Crucible of Worlds. It's just so good. Another card I'd like to see in here would be... what's the name of that thing? Iced Hill Explorer. This card is a house. 4 mana for a 2/4. You play an extra land every turn. So part of what you want to do is lands, right? You can play lands from your graveyard. So it's an exploration and a Crucible of Worlds stable together. And then if that wasn't enough already, when you play a land, you mill a card. So you gotta fill your graveyard, find more lands to play out of it, and then get yourself ready for a big graveyard turn. I think we'll also need a little bit more in the way of landfall payoffs. So we are gonna put Scoot Swarm in here. Sack a land, draw 2, play initial land. Yeah, okay. Then you're not putting lands into play tapped, really, so you don't really need Spelunking, which is what I was going to be looking at next. But Fertile Grass, Charm, Harrow, Roiling Growth. Oh yeah, if we're playing Harrow and Roiling Growth, we should play Entish Restoration. It is the same thing as Harrow and Roiling Growth, but if you have a Punch with Power 4 or greater, you get an extra land. So there's a great side grade there. We may even wind up cutting Harrow. We want to keep our basic count high because of these kind of effects. Also, we are in the colors for Valakut, so we're going to put Valakut in our deck. Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle, is a land. Uh, when it enters tapped, and then whenever a mountain enters into your control, if you have at least 5 other mountains, you have it deal 3 damage to target creature or player. We will pair Valakut with our good friend from Modern, Dryad of the Elysian Grove, I believe. Yes, land control every basic land type in addition to other types. Then we're going to go in here and do Zurin Orb to give us a free sack outlet for our lands. We already have Aftermath Analyst and Splendid Reclamation, but I also want to put what's Wind Grace? What's the Planeswalker Wind Grace do again? +2, so it's 5 mana. Discard a card, then draw a card. If a land card is discarded this way, draw an additional card. My suite of 2 land cards go to the battlefield. That's 11 from 6 permanents, 6 force-swap creatures. Yeah, we'll put Wind Grace in here. This card's great. Thomas says, "Have you played Dominion?" That's my deck building game background. Much more temporary decks. Yeah, one of my good friends, Nate, has Dominion. He brings it around all the time. So I haven't played it in a little while, but that deck's great. I love the Dominion deck building game. More recently, I've been playing the Mistborn deck building game, which is more similar, kind of a middle ground between Dominion and this as well. If you haven't tried that one out, it's a really fun one. And it ties into one of my favorite book series. So, Lord Windgrace, Aftermath Analyst. Okay. We should probably also put Scapeshift in here and Lumra. Now, the unfortunate thing is these guys are really expensive. Lumra's only $18, luckily. It went down a little bit from last I looked. But Scapeshift is at $54 because it hasn't had a meaningful reprint in a long time. And they keep printing super good, like, lands decks or land commanders. And so, every time that happens, people go out and buy Scapeshifts. And then Scapeshift became the main combo piece for current builds of Amulet Titan in Modern. So, that brought the price up some more. So, until this gets a real reprint, it's tough to include in your deck. $54. It does win you the game on the spot for 4 mana, but like, it's a kicker for that cost, you know. Let's see. Titania Lumra. So Givrog Monster. Whenever one of our lands put your graveyard from anywhere, draw a card. Ability to each turn. Yep. So something else I would like to see in this deck. Our commander costs 4, so we want to have a creature in play that with 2 power or greater on turn 3. So that way we can immediately turn our commander on the next turn and start churning the lands in for value. Looks like we do a pretty good job at that. Dryad helps. We're also going to play Loot the Pathfinder. Oh, wait, sorry. Loot Exuberant Explorer is the one we need, is in these colors. 3 mana, extra land drop each turn, 6 mana, look at the top 6, put a creature card in play. Great. Just another exploration creature. And then, that's it for the creature additions, I think. We have a lot of card draw. We have a lot of land payoffs. Now we have the means to get all of our lands back from the graveyard to play. Let's see about a little bit of land changing around, but yeah, I like all of this. Nothing's jumping out at me as like missing. You have, how many Wraths are we playing? We're playing, let's see, we're in the sorcery section here. I see Blasphemous Act. Oh right, Planetary Annihilation. This card is cool. It's not the kind of card I want for this deck though. I'd rather have like I said over here in the Fleam deck, I'd rather go for something bigger that does like a bigger Wrath that draws me more cards or advances my game state a bit more. And while sacking my lands is nice, and I know that card did win Silva a game the other day with having the commander upgraded and sacking enough lands to finish people off. the ways we have to sacrifice lands have improved so much that we don't need to worry about that much anymore. So I'd rather play something in the more expensive like payoff ramp slots because when I was seeing this deck in play, I've played against it a couple times already. Uh, the commander will come down and like do some like dirty value engine stuff, and then you'll fall a bit behind, and then you'll drop some huge threat and take over the game. You'll become the arch enemy. Board gets wiped. We'll move on from there. But giving you some kind of like ramp payoff wrath, like the one I played in Fleemy, honestly, would be great to take back the game, draw a bunch of cards, and go from there. So let's go ahead and put what was the name of that card again? I'm so good at card names that I forget all of them at once. Decree of Pain. We'll put Decree of Pain in here as well. So Decree of Pain, for those who weren't in the Fleem deck build, 8 mana, sorcery, destroy all creatures, draw a card for each creature destroyed this way, or cycling for 5 mana, -2/-2 until end of turn. Super simple. Alright, next. We got our mana base upgrade. We're not going to cut lands. We're going to stay at 43. I know it's high. This deck needs to hit land drops every single turn. This deck needs to churn lands. And the commander turns extra lands drawn into extra cards. So it's literally no problem at all if you have too many lands in your deck. Play them. You need them. Win the game. Alright, so let's see here. Anything else that's jumping out at me is missing? Not really. This deck does a lot of cool stuff already. Got a lot of sacrifice synergies. Got a lot of land stuff. We just gotta cut cards down now. I think we're gonna start with Formless Genesis. Then we're gonna cut Escape to the Wilds. We don't need a 5 mana draw card spell. It's a good card, but not for this deck. Arcane Zeta is Arcane Zeta, right? But I would much rather be playing something that develops my lands on turn 2 than I would rather do other stuff. I just lost connection, it looks like. Oh, and we're back. Yeah, so I would much rather play a different card on turn 2. Bear with me for a moment, guys. It looks like we just lost our Twitch stream. Okay, we're back. Okay, good. So our Wi-Fi gets a little unstable sometimes. Alright, so we have to make 2 cuts and then fix this mana base, and then we're good to go on this deck. Seder Wayfinder. Isn't Town Greeters the same card but better? Mill 4. Yeah, but the but better part doesn't matter. That's something we're doing in this deck. Oh, yes! That's what I want to play. Malevolent Rumble. Malevolent Rumble is, in my opinion, one of the best cards ever printed. It is a 2-mana sorcery. Reveal the top 4, put a permanent card from among them into your hand, put the rest into your graveyard, and then you get a 0/1 spawn that sacks to make a mana. So this is like that Seder Wayfinder we just saw, but the difference is between that and Seder Wayfinder is you get not just a land, you get anything. It fills your graveyard up for all your other effects. Just great all-around card. I'm playing it in a bunch of green decks. Let's drop the... No, I like Hammer of Perforos. Making you a 3/3 every turn is not the worst thing you could be doing. Especially since they have haste. Omnath is so good. Let's go and get something down here. Firstly, Rumble, Nature's Lore, Night's Whisper. I don't think we need to play Night's Whisper. We don't really want to be using like our turn 2 or similar turns to draw. We want to be developing creatures so we can station this one better. So I think we'll drop that. That art for Blasphemous Act is so cool. Let's see. Finding the Old Gods, Forgotten Closet. Hey, I'm back. I'm back. No need to 07 me. I'm back. Let's get the Oracle and we'll die out of here. We have a lot of other ways to play lands. And then the last cut will be this Umedian Waste Waker. It's a cool card, but it's not what we're really, not fully what we're trying to do here. Everything else seems more of the area that we're looking for. Alright, Silva, if you are here, please sound off in chat that you've seen the final build, and we'll send it over to you in just a moment here, okay? And then we'll do the normal end of deck part here. So, this is Hearthhold the World Seed. I took this list, the Lands Am I Right deck by my friend Silva, and upgraded it into this. We have a lands rebuild to do, and then we're all finished. So, let's come down here and look at these lands and figure out what we need. So, Badruka Bog, Courtyard, Cinder Glade, Command Tower. So it looks like we still haven't put any of the staples in yet, so we can do... Seems pretty good. Sweet, thanks Silva. Let's go upgrade your land base. Do you want to copy this before the land upgrade so that way you can... No, I'll do the land upgrade, then you can look at it later. Is land sort EDH rec. So this is what I was mentioning earlier. If you're still here, Thomas, this is the these are the kind of like search parameters you can do on Scryfall. If you do them correctly, at least. I did is land. It's supposed to be type land. It's a really powerful tool if you look into how to use it. There's a lot of really good videos out there. I'm gonna have one up in a few months. Deck video creation takes a long time for my channel here. So Silva, I'm gonna put all of the off-color fetches in your deck. I know that's gonna increase the price a lot, but you know, it's really good, and you're gonna play them because I have spare proxies for you. And what I mean by off-color fetches, for those who don't know, fetch lands, despite looking like they have a color identity, actually don't. You can play them in any deck. Technically, you're allowed to play fetches that don't can't search any lands from your deck. But instead, what we do is we play off-color, which is one of the colors is not in the deck. So in this case, Arid Mesa, you don't have plains because you're Jund, black, red, green. But we're playing it for the mountain, which lets us go get any mountain, including our triomes, dual lands, etc. Urborg is not going to be included. Urborg and Yavimaya would be fine here, but I don't think we need them. And then obviously we need Shocks, you need Seiju, Blood Crypt, Overgrown Tomb. I'm still shocked that they have not started including these commander-only dual lands in the commander decks. It makes no sense. They only are good in Commander. They're not good anywhere else. They should just stick them in every precon. Let them go down to 0. It would take the price of deck building down by so much. But you know, they don't really care about us. Let's see here. All right, so that's those. Let's go ahead and do type land Verge. Blazemire Verge, Thornspire Verge, and Wastewood Verge. If you are not playing the Verges, you need to be playing these lands. They are phenomenal. They are all under $10, with the exception of the Izzet and Dimir ones, and they are great. If you have basics in your deck, it turns them all on. If you have a super expensive mana base, it turns them all on. It's just really good. Dual lands, untapped, phenomenal. We're gonna go for is Shockland. Level 3, yes we do. Is Surveil Land. Does that work yet? It does work. Did you know you could do is Surveil Land, Silva? I figured that one out the other day. Takes about the same time as doing is Surveil type and then set MKM, but you know, still cool to know. That's the fetches, the shocks, the surveils, and the verges. So now we can go back through here and, oh yeah, we have utility lands. This deck, do we need any of the, yeah, let's go take a look. Set, ELD, type land. So Throneville Drain had some really good lands. No, not that one. I like a Castle Lochthwain here. I also like a Witch's Cottage here. And then, are there any other lands I can think of that are good in these colors? Shifting Woodland is really good. Arena of Glory is actually really good too. Most of the time it's just going to enter as a land. Other times you're getting it to kill people with it, so it's great. Alright, and then let's go ahead and take a look at the game changers. So if anyone who doesn't know how the bracket system works, decks are categorized in Commander from brackets 1 through 5, with 1 being you have a gimmick you want to try and pull off, whereas 5 is you're playing competitive Commander. We here at Bracket Builders sit in the beautiful middle ground of bracket 2, 3, and 4. Bracket 2 is basically a precon level deck, unoptimized kind of stuff. Super fun, low power, and there's a list of cards called Game Changers that are technically not banned, but are not legal to play in your Bracket 2 deck. Game Changers, which is the list you're seeing here, you're allowed to have up to 3 of them in your Bracket 3 deck, and then any number in 4 up. These are cards that have been deemed a little bit too powerful to see in lower level environments, and they're trying to hold them back from being in every single deck, because otherwise they would be anyways. So like Ancient Tomb, and you can make the argument for this card to be in any deck in Commander. It's expensive, and so it's incentivizes winning with money and not actual gameplay, so just not including it, great. Well, Citadel, Braids, I mean honestly, Silva, you could probably put Braids Cabalment in here. We're not going to do it though. Crop Rotation is going to be one of our game changers, as well as Field of the Dead. This is one of the best land payoff cards in all of Magic. It is banned in multiple formats because it is free. It is a tapped land that whenever another land or this land or another land enters, if you control 7 or more lands with different names, you make a 2/2 zombie. Seems low, seems like it's not super important, but having that on a land is so crazy. Most people can't kill lands in Commander. This can't be killed by most players. Phenomenal. Oh, we should do Gaia's Cradle. I'm kidding. Probably could do Glacial Chasm, but it's not really the vibe for how you like to play games, so we're not going to go for that one, Silva. Instead, we're probably going to go for Seedborn Muse. We'll make sure I'm not missing anything else here. Yeah, we're going to play Seedborn Muse. Because your commander does not say as a sorcery, right? Yep, nope. You're allowed to sack lands every turn. So you can just... is that good? Honestly, I don't think it's very good. You don't get to put lands into play, so no. Seaborn Muse is much better when you get to do multiple things. This would be the only thing you're doing, and you're also not like holding up mana. So we're not gonna play Seaborn. We're just gonna keep you at 2 game changers, which is of course Field of the Dead and the card that finds Field of the Dead, which is Crop Rotation. So it's great. And then to that end, we also need to play Snow-Covered Lands. Snow-Covered. 1 snow-covered forest, 1 snow-covered mountain, and 1 snow-covered swamp. And we'll come on down here, and we'll start trimming lands. We have 73 lands right now. Okay, Paducah Buff, Seiju, Cabernet Courtyard, Castle Lochthwain, Cinderglade. So normally, when I upgrade mana bases, I cut the if you have 2 basics that comes in untapped lands. I'm going to leave the Cinderglade in because we are playing Valakut and we want to keep our mountain count a little higher than normal. Escape Tunnel, this one can go. Hatchery is great. Falling Wilds. Oh, cut that one. Leave Fabled Passage. Leave Field of the Dead, obviously. We'll trim Forest count. Conclusion Forest, Lanowar Wastes. I actually don't like Myriad Landscape here. I've made the argument elsewhere where I only like Myriad Landscape in decks that do not have most other ways of ramping. It's really slow and bad, and I don't like it in decks that have green mana. Um, that one is not a basic. Okay. We still have to cut 22 lands. Awesome. So, we also added that game changer, so we gotta cut another card. I think we're gonna cut Harrow. We upgraded it into Endless Restoration, and I think two of those effects are good. It also means we are a little bit less priced into playing a ton of basics. So we can go down to 333. That should be plenty. Drop Fabled Passage. A mana base, but oh yeah, there's Mountain Valley. Sculling Turn. I'm gonna leave the green based off color fetches, but I'm gonna cut the other ones. Sorry about that. Let's see. Just gotta trim lands here, folks. It's the most boring part of any commander deck is when you've filled it with cards, you gotta go and trim. Okay, 49. So we only have 6 more we gotta cut. Oh, all the basics. No. Okay. Well. So we have 4 of each basic right now because we have snow-covered variants. I could see Swamp going down to 3. Drop Terramorphic. I explained why these cards are so good, and now I feel like I want to cut them, and it's strange. They're great, but it's more for budget considerations. Okay. And then the last land we're going to cut will be Castle Lockthwaite. And there we are. 43 lands. 100 cards. Just keep in mind, Silva, when you're playing this deck, if you play like a Harrow or a Cultivate, try and make sure you get your snow-covered land first to get your Field of Dead types rounded out. It's a thing you gotta always remember when you're playing that card. And then that is the upgrades. So, we can go ahead and do one of these amazing Mox Trio features where we can compare. So, we wound up making a total of 40 changes to your deck solo. We cut Night's Whisper, Aug of Autumn, Formless Genesis, Oracle of Moldiah, Escape to the Wilds, Urg, Immunity and Wastewaker, Planetary Annihilation, Arcane Signet, Windgrace's Judgment, Worldbreaker, Lungcrafter Fawn, Gaze of Granite, and Harrow, and then switched a whole bunch of lands out. And we added in 40 cards to replace them. And that is our upgrade here for Hearthhole the Worldseed. This one was really great. This commander is so cool. I'm so excited to play him. When Silva gets the deck together, I'm going to steal it from them, actually. They're a good friend of mine, so you can tell them I said this. This deck is great compared to the previous version because it is more. It is a lot more of the lands thing. It leans in on the uninteractability of its lands being powerful, and the fact that most people do not play sufficient land removal to capitalize on this. In addition, it uses a lot of graveyard synergies, which typically are tough to interact with as well. It's going to be tough to slow down, and once that machine gets going, they're going to die. If you ever resolve a Zuran Orb, Silva, I don't know how you lose the game. It's So very good here. And also, this is where I like to make the case we need to unban fast spawning commander. Anyways, our next deck today is going to be Narset Enlightened Exile. So I said it at the top of the show today, but we've been streaming for a while, so I'll go into this again. This commander is for me, and I have been wanting to build this deck for a long time. Let me actually show. This is the build I made of this deck in 2023 that I wound up not putting together because a good friend of mine wanted to play it instead, and so I built the deck list, and then I never bought the cards. So this was early 2023 when I put this deck list together. Then I wanted to play it again when Tarkir came out, and I put this deck list together for it, which is going to look very different. And then in a test stream we did a couple of days ago, I went and built this version of it. So we have 3 completed versions of the same deck, and so I wanted to go through and kind of average them together, section by section, and put it into my favorite version of this. So let's take a look at what these 3 builds are doing, kind of figure out what their weaknesses are, what their strengths are, and then we'll kind of smush them all together. So, from 2023, so reminder, before Modern Horizons 3, before, this also would be before Dustborn and all the more recent sets this last year, no Final Fantasy cards, etc. This is unlimited triggers. Obviously, creatures you control have prowess, is our commander. Whenever she attacks, exile a non-creature, non-land card mana value less than her power from a graveyard and copy it. You may cast a copy without paying its mana cost. So we are trying to cast as many non-creature spells as possible, as it will give all of our creatures temporary buffs via the prowess mechanic. Go super wide, go super tall at the same time. It's phenomenal. Alright, so Invasion of Kaldheim. This is a card I've been high on for a while. It's just a self-wheel that then turns into a card draw engine. Jaya is a planeswalker I've wanted to make work since I won a draft with it. Narset Transcendent. Oh boy. Give me just a moment. Don't mind me. Do some moderation. Okay. Alright. Narset Transcendent. 4 mana. Let out your library. Not creature on library. Put it in your hand. It's rebound. And you can spell. Huh. Wow. Actually, wait, hold on. They can't cast out creature spells? That's really funny. Huh. It's a fun planeswalker. And then Saheeli, non-creature spell, make a servo. Very cool. Aisha, Bergie, Dancer, Krenko, Kaikar. Yeah, Leon Knight's card was definitely going to be going in. Enform. Really min. Oh, yeah, because I guess the illusion tokens, when they die, we can put stuff into play. Mastery Mentor, Murmuring Mystic, Ovika. This is one of my favorite decks I ever had, by the way. Ovika Enigma Goliath. I built Ovika Enigma Goliath mana rocks and just made tons of mana, put a gigantic pile of goblins into play, and then just killed them. It was great. I wound up taking it apart because it was just too good. Pop Stitcher, 2 mana, cast and then sort of make it 2/2 with Decayed, and then if you have 3 more creature tokens, you flip them. They're all 3/3s. This is actually a non-bow. If Papa Stitcher was in play before Narset, it's fine, but if it's in play afterwards... So let me explain. Non-bow means it's a non-synergy. So Puppet Factory turns our creature tokens into 3/3s, and turns off all of their abilities, which is worded this way to get rid of Decayed. But because of how the timestamps part of rules work, Narset gives all our creatures prowess, and she comes into play after Puppet Factory. So they'll lose all their abilities, and then they'll gain prowess. But unfortunately, if we play this after Narset, and so she's in play before this card is, when it flips, she gives everything prowess, and this takes all their abilities away. So would be a bit of a nombo, but it is also just a 3-mana 2/3 that whenever I cast it into a sorcery makes it 2/2. So it might be worth playing anyways. The transform is a May, so don't have to get rid of it. Tolerant, Iconoclast, Urbrask. Yeah, Urbrask is definitely a card I gotta make sure I play. I don't think I included it in the other two builds. Vadric has been replaced with a newer card. I'm sure you all have an idea for which one blue-red creature that cares about spells replaced Vadric, but you'll see it next. Veyron. This doubles all the prowess triggers for instants and sorceries only. And then Young Peasy. Celestial Vision. This does work the way you want to with your commander. Expensive Iteration. Get Probe. Inevitable Betrayal. Jessica's Will. Auto Inversion. Past in Flames. I don't think I'll play playing that one in my build. Winds of Abandon. Treasure Cruise. Bunch of cantrips. Fair amount of counter spells and protection. Yeah, right, Jez? Vedrick was awesome. Now he's become VV, but this one's great. There's Crash, Moment of Truth, Opt, Path to Exile. One of my pet cards, Pull from Eternity. Love that card. Reprieve, Sea Double. Sea Double was also another pet card of mine. Yes, this is when I was on the put Vanish into Eternity into every commander deck kick. This card is okay. You should just play if you want to play a 3-mana one that doesn't give them a 3/3, play the one that gives them a human. And Arcane Signet, Commander Sphere, Midnight Clock, Mindstone, Soul Ring, Talisman. So this is something that I did here that I agree with, and that is playing a bunch of mana rocks. I should definitely have done that in these other ones. I was on Underworld Breach in this deck list? Okay, well that's a little crazy. We're not really doing Underworld Breach. Shark Typhoon, though, we will do that one. And then Whirlwind of Thought. Glad I remember this card exists. I would not have remembered this otherwise. Okay. Alright, and then Prowess Trigger. A lot of overlap. Ral hadn't been released when I made this deck list. Eternal Wanderer hadn't become a pet card at the time. MH3 hadn't released till here is Ajani. I also didn't know about Angelic Skirmisher until more recently. If you don't know about this card's amazing. 6 mana, 4/4, flying. Beginning of each combat, you pick a keyword, and creatures you control get that keyword until end of turn. This is so good in Commander, where you can just be like, okay, I want to swing out, and I don't want to die for the backswing, so let's choose Vigilance, so I have all my creatures to block. Or and then on their turn, you can be like, okay, well, we're going to choose First Strike, so if you attack me, all your creatures will die to the First Strike damage. Or you can just be like, okay, well, I'm low on life, let's go Lifelink, gain a bunch of life on this combat, go from there. Very good card. Archmage Emeritus, Ashling, another MH3 card. Bria, another phenomenal card from Bloomburrow. Drakehatcher, Curiosity, FOMO. More of the MDFC creatures. Jigataxis. We'll look at the number of MV3 dog creatures, but we're probably going to play Jin. Kitsa, Mentor, Pinnacle Monk, Facebreaker, Riptide, Sand Scout. This card is so good. We'll get to why later. Simon, Slicer, Stormkiln, Veyron, Whirler Rogue, Witch Enchanter. Tempt with Bunnies. Oh, right, I always forget about this card. Draw a card and create a 1/1 rabbit. Then each opponent may draw a card and make a 1/1 rabbit. For each opponent who does, you draw a card and make a 1/1 rabbit. They should never, ever, ever, ever take the card to the rabbit. Ever. They should make this just be a 3-mana 1/1 that draws me a card. But if they do, I'm okay with that. So, it works out. Suppression Ray. This card just won the Pro Tour. Suppression Ray. Clever Concealment, Dawn Charm, Invert Polarity, Kabira Takedown, Keep Watch, Legion Leadership, Martial Swirling Mist. This town ain't big enough. Great. Oh yes, Ride Down too. Some Signets and Talismans. There's a Bitterthorn here too. Artist Talent, Virtue of Loyalty, Bitter Reunion, Blind Obedience, Dawn of the New Age, Fable, Stormtrooper's Talent, True Conviction. 29 lands, 42 with MDFC. That's a lot of MDFCs. And then this is the one we went with the other day. Some more Tarkir cards added. Alright, so I think I'm ready to start putting this thing together. So, first thing I'm going to do is, I wanted, from this deck list, I wanted to go and grab So typically when I build decks, I go for all in on synergy first, and then I do like some fun pet cards later. I want this to be my like mid-range deck. Before Narset, I had a deck that I wound up getting rid of, which was Zinnia, uh, which was like all in on mid-range, and then you would pay 2 and make extra copy of these creatures. I want this to be the same kind of deck, so there's a few things I left out of these other builds that I'm going to include here, uh, including Ocelot Pride, Guide of Souls, Ajani, Nakatl Pariah. We're going to include... Basically, we can put the entire energy shell in here. Some Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride, Ajani, Flage. Then we're going to go for my commander beaters, so Adeline. Adeline Resplendent Cathar. We're going to go for Thalia Cathar. I believe it's Heretic Cathar. Yeah? Yeah. Thalia, Heretic Cathar. We're going to go for, what's his name? Krenko, 10th Street Kingpin. We're going to go for, Krenko, a Slicer. Hired Muscle. What other creatures are just good that we want to play in here? Right, we want to play Vivi. We're going to go for Urbrask. We're going to go for Fear of Missing Out. We're going to go for Steencore Scholar. Let's hit what about Bria Riptide Rogue. Taster's Talent. This town ain't big enough. We're gonna go for what's that name? I can't play Tamiya with this deck. Unfortunate. Let's also do the 2-mana equipment. That lets me double spell, get a creature, which is of course lovely. I have it in here, don't I? I love when I forget cards that are super important to deck lists. Corey Steelcutter. Thank you. Corey Steelcutter. The Indomitable. And then before I forget them, Swords to Plowshares, Fury, Subtlety, Fury, Subtlety, Solitude. We're also going to play Quantum Riddler, Profs, Eidetic Memory. We're going to play Gitaxian Probe, Ponder, Brainstorm, Preordain, Consider, actually, we're going to drop Consider, Preordain for can't block. Value is 1. Oh, draw. Enter the Enigma, and then slip through space. Just some quick cantrips that draw cards big so they can't be blocked. Also going to go for talismans. Specifically, we're going for the conviction, the creativity, and the progress. Go for Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Ragavan. Didn't take Ragavan. Ragavan. We're gonna do Jaya. We'll do Jaya. We'll do Kaito. And we'll do Ral. Ral Crackling Wit. Stock up. Expressive It. Narration. Let's go for then for the game changers, we're going to do Ristic Study. We're going to do Jeska's Will, and we're gonna do what's that called again? Smothering Tithe. So I tend to build decks for myself way differently than most people do. I have never had a Ristic Study in play under my control from a deck that I owned. Smothering Tithe I've played a few times in Marnie's Calgar, but these cards are power outliers that I typically do not include in my personal commander decks. But I'm playing it here because I want this to be, like, I want Narset to be my, like, core combat-focused deck to bring with me to, like, conventions or go on to commander shows with, because I think this card is underplayed heavily. So, we'll include them. Then what else can we do? Johnny, Ragavan, if you're missing out, Adeline. Let's pop over here, take a look. We need some more non-creature spells. I also think we should go for some bigger stuff. I gotta put the Ancestral Vision in here. And the Winds of Abandon. Yes. Okay. Winds of Abandon. And then we do Galad Dismissal. Galadriel. Just Dismissal. One of my favorite cards in all of Magic. It's won me so many games I can't even count. Treasure Cruise. Arcane Denial. Cover Concealment. Counterspell. Yeah, we will do. Actually, no. I want to do the human one. Size the Imperfect, and then set Wilds of Eldraine, right? What's this card set symbol? It is. Whoa, right, of course. Let's see, Stroke of Midnight, thank you. The reason we're going for Stroke of Midnight and not Generous Gift, even though Generous Gift can hit a land, we are a combat-focused deck. Giving him a 3/3 actually does have some relevant text versus us. So I'm just trying to hedge our bets and go a little bigger. Let's do Fable. What's that little creature called? Set BLB. Type Otter. Nope, not that one. We have Bria already. We're not gonna play Corsation Mage. Actually, no, we are gonna play Corsation Mage. That's good. Kitsa I want in the deck. Hold off on that one. We're not really doing Storm Splitter stuff. As cool as this card is, not what I want to do in this deck. Thundertrap Trainer. Card's good. Don't mind me. This headset of mine likes to die and then need to get repoed in. It's weird. Oh yes, Shiko. Love a Shiko. Let's also go for. Let's take a look at Tark here. Target Dragon's Form is TDM. And then type is gonna be instant. What was that card called? Yes, Frontline Rush. Orang River Regent. And there's New Way Forward. This card's awesome. So next time it starts with your choice, we deal damage to you. This turn, prevent that damage. When damage is prevented this way, it deals that much damage. It's first controller and draw that many cards. So like you fog their like 5-power creature, and then you draw 5 cards. Okay. Let's go over here. Story's Talent. Artist Talent. Start Typhoon. Yeah, so the idea is the commander gives everything prowess. And so as long as the creatures are strong, like they're good creatures, they get prowess, they get bigger via this. So that's the sizing we're looking for here. Yeah, let's go for Thought Vessel Midnight Clock. Mindstone. Thought Vessel. Midnight Clock. And Mindstone. Do I want to play Mindstone? Or do I play a different one? There is... Yeah, we'll do Curse Mirror. Okay. And that's enough ramp for this deck. Archtown Props, Fable over 6, Smuggling Tide, Star Typhoon. I want to put, yeah, we'll do a Chrome as well. We have the MDFC land still, we gotta go do. There's a lot of this is gonna wind up in there. That's funny. Chrome as well. 4th Aerlingus. Fourth Aerlingus. I like Draycatcher. I like Lace. It's Lease, right? Yes. And then, of course, we have the MDFC lands we gotta go in and add. Let's pop over to this one. Yes, invert polarity. Invert polarity. Bitterthorn. Bitterthorn. This is Animus. We'll do True Conviction. And then Dawn of a New Age is pretty good. Dawn of a New Age. Anything else jumping out at me? Riptide, Gearhulk. So yes. Okay, so there's some more. So Riptide, Gearhulk, Sun Titan, Facebreaker, Turian Mauler, Skirmisher, Angelic, Skirmisher, Turian, yes, Mauler, and that was the last one I was looking for. Sand Scout, Facebreaker, Curiosity, Sand Scout, Professional Facebreaker. That was actually the card of the day today. And then Sand Scout. Make sure we put the Sand Scout package in here. Okay. Enduring Curiosity. Okay, and then popping over to unlimited triggers, we have Whirlwind of Thought, Frantic Search, yep, Frantic Search, looking pretty good here. Looking pretty good. Okay, that's to get our mana figured out, and then we'll go from here. So, first things first is land sort EDH rack. I did it again. Whoopsies. Type land. Command Tower. And then I know what I want here, so mountain, plains, island, Rowan Triome, Sacred Foundry, Elegant Parlor, Sacred Peaks, Mountain Island, Steam Vents, Thundering Falls, Molten Tributary, Plains Island, Hollowed Fountain, Meticulous Archive, Idyllic Beachfront. Then we need type land, Verge, Flood Farm, River Pyre, and Sunbillow Verge. I will spread my propaganda about lands as much as I am allowed to. Set. Did they give all 10 of them in Baldur's Gate? I think they did. BLB is Battle for Baldur's Gate, I believe, right? No, BLB was Bloomborough. What's Baldur's Gate? Is it BLD? For Boulder? No? Let's look up, Baldur's Gate card. Arenicus. CLB, yes. Set. CLB. Type. Land. Oh, right, because it's a commander set all the lands from the The precons are in here too. Sort, EDH rack. Command tower. Sea of clouds. Really? They only do half of them? Okay. You know, I really should have these names memorized by now. Oh, I want Lindblom. Sea of Clouds. Spectator seating and training center. Awesome. Is DFC type land. Amir's Call. Kaiba Takedown. Legion Leadership. Undo Inversion. Pinnacle Monk. Seagate Resto. Singing the Stupor. Sundering Eruption. Valakut Awakening. Witch Enchanter. Okay, how are we doing on lands? 18 real, 20 NBFC. We're going to go for 2 of each basic. Then we're at 24 lands. We have fetches to do still. On color fetches only, please here, folks. On color fetches only. Shuffling is the worst part of Commander. Alright, so what am I missing? Did Shocks already? Yeah, I did Shocks, Fetches, Surveils, Verges. 27 lands. I want to get a few more in here. And then we gotta go cut some actual cards. Otawara. What's... no, I don't want to play a Ganjo. Oh, we're gonna play from, I believe it is set MH3 type land. Yeah, Arena of Glory for sure. What was the other one called though? Wasn't there another? Oh no, I'm thinking of not MH3. I'm thinking of Lord of the Rings, which is LTR. Minas Tirith and Rivendell. No, we don't need Rivendell. Let's play a land that can destroy other lands. So let's go get Strip Mine. We can grab some Graveyard Hate in the land slot. So let's grab Entertainment. I believe it's Abrigado Entertainment. Abstergo Entertainment. Legendary land enters untapped, and you pay 3 and exile it. Return a historic card from your graveyard to your hand, and then exile all graveyards. Great, good card. I want 32 real lands, 42 with MVFC. That's a number I can live with. I like this a lot. What other utility lands do we want to wedge in here to bring us up by 1 or 2 though? We added Lindblom. I don't want to mill their library. I don't want to return artifacts from my graveyard, so I don't want to play the Final Fantasy ones. I could see a world where I play the planet lands. Planet? Does it an artifact or enchantment? If it's legendary. Yeah, we'll play Caveron. People don't like this card. I think it's great. Sack a land, make a 2/2. Could you +1/+1 gain haste. How's our Wraths looking? We have which ones? We have Winds of Abandon overloaded. We have Onto Inversion. I count as half of a Wrath, and that looks like it's gonna be it. Yeah. Let's put Austere Command into this deck. It's my favorite catch-all Wrath. Farewell is a better card. Austere Wrath is more fun. And also, Farewell, you have to Wrath all creatures if you choose creatures. You cannot sculpt it. I play a lot of 3-drops or less, and so you can blow up all the green creatures, big stuff, and then kill them all through it. Happened literally in a Commander game yesterday. Okay. Oh man, this is the thing about Commander decks. When I like the strategy, it's tough because I gotta cut a lot of cards when it comes down to the cutting phase, and it's always stressful. Like the first 5 or 6 cuts, those are quick. I added cards to the deck and was like, yeah, maybe we do this, maybe we don't. But this is tough. Really missing Tef Pro here, but I want to be back at 3, and I want to play these game changers. Tef Pro is such a safety blanket for me, but okay. So the artifacts are locked in, yeah. We can cut the Bitterthorn. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, ramp is good. Brainstorm, some plushers. I want to look at the creatures. I have 34 creatures, so I want to cut those for sure. Cut some down. Intentional Vision's a little cute. Pull a certain way, you pull way ahead of those your command. Yeah, like I've said it earlier, but I do my best to try and sculpt my wraths so that way the game ends when I wrath, and it's not like gonna go on for another 3 hours. Because I'd rather have a game. I'd rather die to having a wrath that's too clunky, and then play another commander game than I would having to wrath and stay alive, and then do nothing going on. So that's why I really like Winds of Abandon. I really like Austere Command. Similar cards like that in other colors as well. Like Cyclonic Rift's great for that, right? The game is usually over when you cast it. So, well, we gotta cut 22 cards. I can part without this Kaido. I got him into enough decks. I can part with Ragavan. Coruscation Mage can go. Habitat Trainer can go. Okay. Creatures are locked in. Can't cut any more creatures. We have a fair number of instant sorceries we can trim down on. But is it 18? Probably not. We'll probably have to cut some creatures anyways. Okay. Let's come down here and get rid of Profs. I'm not cutting True Conviction. I want to choose to play this card. Let's cut Artist Talent. And these are all locked. These are all locked. Let's do New Way Forward. Let's do Frontline Rush. Invert Polarity, as fun as that card is. Let's do Enigma and Slip Through Space. This is always the worst part of commander decks. I wish they let me play with 200 cards. I'd play 200 card commander deck all the time. I would love it, but technically rules is written. You gotta do 100 cards exactly. But all right, and I know what makes your decks better for cutting down on cards, but whatever. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to win every game I play, right? So to that end, we're gonna cut Brainstorm. Cut Frantic Search. Cut Treasure Cruise. Critical Monk. $25. $35. Plus enchantments. Okay. Let's get rid of Subtlety. And Fury. I forgot to do the Sand Scout thing, so we'll cut it instead of going back in and fixing the meta base. Actually, no. Sand Scout... this is a deck I actually care about. I really want to put Sand Scout in here. We come down in here to the mana base and make some changes to make this work. So... Arid Archway. Cactus Preserve. And... where is the... Graveyard Hate Desert? Scavenger Grounds. Sand Scout is a 2-mana creature. When it enters the opponent has more lands than you, search your library for a desert card, put it on the battlefield, tap, and then shuffle. And then whenever you fetch, you make a 1/1. Really good. It's just a really good 2-mana ramp spell in white. So, to play with it, we do Arid Archway because it's a bounce land. So it goes and gets you this land, which is actually tap for 2. Very good to have as a ramp piece. Cactus Preserve, it is a creature land. It's also a desert, so if you already drew one of yours and you want some redundancy on your deserts to make sure you get all these. And then the last one we added was Scavenger Grounds. It's slightly, so it's like a side grade with Abstergo Entertainment, which is why I just cut that from the deck. Abstergo lets you get a card back and then hit all graveyards, but it costs 3 to activate. This sacrifices itself and costs 2 to activate, so give and take. But, we're at 35 real lands, 44 with MDFC, so we can trim a few more. I think I will cut the Cavron. That card's cool, but not quite what we're going for here. Lindblom does too much for us. Mist here is a little slow on the card draw section. Down to 5 cuts. Let's see. I feel like I can't really trim much more on this stuff, though. I gotta hit creatures eventually. Let's hit the Kitsa. No. This is tough, man. This is real tough. Let's drop the... No. I like having the I win button with the Chrome as well. Man, this is tough. I hate the last parts of cutting. Especially when you have a deck that like you've had as much iteration with as I did with this one. I don't want to cut any more lands. I like 33 real, 42 MDFC. Because all the MDFCs in the deck are high value. Like, they're all good cards to cast. Because we cut the one that wasn't. Like, Unknown version is a little expensive, but that's not a problem. We should cut the Commander. I think maybe we cut Guide Pride. We can just cut Pride and keep Guide. We're not doing much other token stuff, unfortunately. Sorcery spells. It deals 3 damage to target opponent. We'll cut Urbrask. Gotta cut 2 more cards. Let's see. So, we have a fair amount of interaction. Let's drop the Kibira takedown. Go down to the 12. 1 more cut. And I'll do the commander player thing and I'll cut a land. Specifically, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to hit a Ring of Glory. No, what's the MDFC I'm playing? Let's go get the Amiria's Call out of my deck. There we go. Alright, this is the Narset Enlightened Exile deck. This is a should be a solid 3 where all the creatures are just good cards on their own, and then the commander gives them all prowess and lets the rest of the decks, like normal synergies, kind of tie the whole thing together. Uh, this deck was mostly inspired by 3 different decks I've played in the past. Boros Energy in Modern, the Jeskai Profs deck in Standard, and now Jeskai Green from Canadian Highlander, which is a mid-range deck uh, that I played in that format. So I wanted to make something that's kind of in the middle, just a more playing good cards. I don't have very many like good stuff decks, and so I wanted to do that. And then I wanted to keep it at 3 instead of 4. I could have gone for bracket 4 and played a few more game changers. I was feeling the miss. I was feeling that I was missing Deferred Protection and Cyclonic Rift for this list. But Rhystic Study, Smothering Tithe, and Jessica's Will are the 3 game changers I'm playing for bracket 3. And I'm fine with that. And we'll see how this deck plays. And if it feels like it's super strong anyways, I might just wind up going the extra mile, going up to 4, dropping a few of the cuter inclusions like Angelic Skirmisher and Stalia, and playing, actual war game changers and a little bit more interaction and solid stuff like that. But yeah, that is the decks for today. We have about 20 minutes left in the time I had allotted for today. But I think I'd rather just wrap up the stream here tonight. We had a nice long stream here tonight, everybody. So, to recap, we went over 3 commander decks: Fleam, Goban's Creation, Hearthhole, the World Seed, and Narset Enlightened Exile. If you go over to Moxfield, you can search by people, and then we'll put it in chat here in a moment. But we are bracket builders on all platforms. We managed to get the name everywhere. So if you go on Moxfield, search builders. All 3 of the decks are publicly available if you want to take a look at them. And they are all here. So if you want to get your deck personally checked out the same way we upgraded ours tonight, we have a Patreon. Subscribing at any level gives you access to 1 deck upgrade, and then the highest tier lets you get 1 per month, which is great. We have a fairly active Discord where we post as well, which you can get to by joining the Patreon for free, where we talk all things Magic news all day, every day. We also are here on YouTube and Twitch, multi-streaming right now. So check us out on the other platform. If you're on one, head over to the other and hit the follow button. It means a lot to me. But thank you, everybody, for tuning into the stream tonight. It has been a ton of fun. And I will see you all next week at the same time. So if you're not here, tune in at 6:30 CST over on this channel. We're going to be doing the same thing next week with 3 different decks.